About 6 weeks ago, Eeyore gave birth to her second donkey foal, Gulliver. As you might know from last year, her first foal sadly died of septicemia within 24 hours of birth. So we were a bit apprehensive about the arrival of her second foal. He was a tiny little fella, but looked chirpy enough, and once we were sure that Mum and Baby were settled and happy, we left them for the night, under the watchful and gentle eye of Nell, Eeyore's mum. Things just didn't seem right the next morning. Gulliver seemed a bit flat and dazed, and he became visibly weaker as the day went on. We tried to help along by extracting milk from Eeyore and feeding it to Gulliver by bottle, along with some honey to keep energy levels up. Eventually I decided to pack Gulliver up into the van and present him to our vet, as his symptoms only seemed too familiar. The vet confirmed that Gulliver had septicemia like Eeyore's first foal. Apparently there is a mismatch in the gene pool between Eeyore and Gordon, Gulliver's father, which leads to an antibody reaction in the foal. This toxic reaction might have started already in the womb, but definitely was accelerated by Gulliver's intake of the colostrum milk from Eeyore. So it turned out that the more we tried to help weak little Gulliver by bottle feeding him his mum's colostrum milk, the sicker he became. He had to stay on a drip for the night, flushing out all the toxins in his body. But as soon as this process started, he stopped deteriorating and was hungry for his milk. Only that he couldn't have any of his mum's milk, and he had to wear a muzzle to stop him trying. We helped him along with our sheep's milk, but they only had their lambs around the time Gulliver was born, and they needed every drop of it really for their own babies, so we introduced Joe Milk Replacer. Mare Milk Replacer is very hard to get here in Ireland at the moment, and we needed something quick, so Joe Milk Powder from our local farm shop seemed the best option. And Gulliver responded well. He was hungry, and as long as it was milk, he didn't seem to mind which animal it was from. Because Eeyore couldn't provide what donkey mums are supposed to do, nourishment and care for her baby, she got quite frustrated and started pushing Gulliver away. I suppose this would be a natural reaction in the wild when they sense that they can't do any more and are failing to ensure their foal's survival. Their instinct is to give up on the baby to make sure they keep up with the herd for their own survival. Quite tragic from a human perspective, but of course it makes sense in the wild. Luckily, we were able to help Gulliver, and I separated him from Eeyore into his own little pen so that he could recuperate in his own safe space. He spent his days in the company of our lambs, but still was a bit too weak really to appreciate their friendly approaches. The toxins from the septicemia caused the skin around his leg joints to deteriorate, so Gulliver had to be fed antibiotics with his milk. And to help his guts, we topped his feed up with live yogurt. I treated the skin with disinfectant cream and Tim's honey, which worked wonders. Amazing stuff the bees make.
I know. Yeah, Judy.
As a precautionary measure, I took Gulliver back to the vet to have one of his stifle joints flushed because there was a risk that some of the toxins would settle in the joint and cause him discomfort in the long term. I'm glad we did this because now there is no stopping Gulliver and he's picking up speed by the day. Gulliver got so fast that I got him a harness so that he wouldn't unintentionally sprint into the wrong direction down the driveway and onto the road.
Now, try again. That was there.
But it isn't really a donkey harness. It's a dog harness. But you can't really get a head collar small enough for this cute little head. So the dog harness is the best solution, isn't it? Here. Now, come on, let's go out. There's always a bit of running involved when we go.
Okay.
So, hope you can keep up. Oh, hang on. Hang on.
Come on then.
Lovely to see him happy again.
Come on then. Up. Come on then. Railway.
Gulliver loves his feeds and is gaining weight steadily. We are down from the initial 8 feeds, including night feeds, to 4 daytime feeds now. More sleep for all of us. And he is already eating a good amount of foal pellets and roughage in addition to his liquid feeds. Gulliver is having great fun meeting all the animals around the farm and testing his now better functioning legs, doing little sprints around the lawn. But of course, the best company for him still is his own kind. Eeyore got over the heartache of not being able to help her baby, and although she does not have a bond as strong as a mother donkey should have normally with her foal, understandable after all that happened, they are definitely on the way to building a good mutual friendship. Onwards and upwards, little Gulliver.
And he has you.
There. Oops.